Wonder what they're doing here. A lot of work going on here. Complete new lock and a fish pass as well. And look at the size of that crane. Right up, can you see it just goes right through the tree there. It is massive. It's the longest extension I've ever seen. And it's working from the other side of the river as well. Brilliant. All we got to do now is hope that we don't get any severe rain, because this is the normal water that they're letting through so that they can do the work. If we have heavy rain, which is forecast, this could become a raging torrent. Gives you no indication really of how fast and how much water is flowing down here compared with what I'm used to when I see this when I come up here in my kayak. One hell of a construction, isn't it? Well, walking away from Farleigh, East Farleigh Bridge now, and I'm walking upstream. Don't know how far I can go. I'm hoping that the path will go a fair way. Fingers crossed. Lots of canal boats here, I notice. I'll walk away. Been quite a few of them really. Haven't filmed them, haven't made too much of it, but there are a lot of them moored up here at the minute. Obviously lived in as well. Path following the Medway is being put in. You can see this, look, it's all being worked on, making it much better for walkers and also I suspect for cyclists. So it's quite nice, and obviously they're still working on it over there. You can see in the distance, you can see the guys in the high-res jackets who are still working on it. Amazing. The other thing to notice as well, if I've been quiet for a moment, is the birds. You can tell it's coming up to spring. I know it's a way away, but it's quite mild. The birds know that the days are becoming longer, and of course they're using their bird songs to map out their territories already. Big difference in the amount of birds that you can hear now. Noticed it when I came out the door today. What a difference a really good path makes. Ah, you spend a lot of money on this, but the only trouble is that if we get too much erosion on the riverbank, which of course isn't protected here, and it floods again, this is a curve here, this could all get washed away very quickly. But how do you protect something like this? Very difficult. The train runs along by the side of the river, and if you've seen any of my kayaking videos, you'll see the train up by the Great Lakes by Stodmarsh, and this is the train service that runs up there. As you can see, it's still very much work in progress, but it should be lovely once this stuff all grows back for the summer. Fingers crossed the weather holds to let them complete it. I don't think people realise how much water actually drains into the Medway, but you've got loads of these sort of little culverts all flowing quite fast and all draining the water into the Medway. And another one which drains again into the Medway. Just loads of them. Well, very much back on the old path now, and obviously we've had livestock in here, and I found that the path actually was closed that I'd just walked on. There was a sign, but there was nothing blanking it off, which is why I walked up here. So let's hope I have the same amount of luck getting back and they don't close it off. Otherwise I'll be picking up Jan a little bit later. Now there's a reliant robin for you. My goodness. I've seen things done with them, but nothing like that. I hope you can see it. Choo choo! Well, the sky's holding for me still. No rain. Which is great because I'm a fair way away from the car now, from East Farleigh. So it's been an interesting walk so far. I think that's a robin singing there. I am a mole and I live in a hole. The river is more constrained here, so hence it's deeper in the channel, and obviously it's flowing faster. It's got nowhere to go now, so if we get more rain then the only thing it can do is rise. Can't spread out from here. But irrespective of that, lovely countryside still. Nature gives you some wonderful views, and if you take the contortions of the tree over the other side of the river, that's obviously been shaped by many years, floods, wind, everything, give you an idea. There's plenty to see. This is also, I think, the best part of the river for kingfishers. I've seen loads here. There are absolutely loads of them. When you're in a kayak, they don't seem to worry about you too much. There's a speck up in the sky there. I think it might be a buzzard. Not sure. He's big, and he hasn't to do anything to stay up at all, except be there. Well, it's 3:15, so only 3/4 of an hour into Jan's class, and the weather is definitely deteriorating, as you can see. It looks quite yucky over there. There's no breaks in the cloud and that looks very grey. I'm going to push on anyway. A bit of water won't hurt me. Well, I'm pushing on. After all, if I get wet, I get wet. And I've got a heater back in the car, so what the hell. By the way, do you like the rot net? Oh dear. If my son sees it, he'll laugh. He'll laugh. But it's thermal. It's thermal, so that's good. It keeps me bonce warm. And keeps the grey matter safe too. For what I got left at my age. Oh dear, it's all good fun in it, or I'm an idiot. Right, in the distance we got civilization now. This is what you normally see. I've got the railway to the right of me, along a path by the side of the river. And as you can see, I've got cars in the distance there, and they go over a bridge, over the river. And there is also a level crossing up there, so we've come a little way. So we've got another lock, I suspect, up here, and we've really done one lock to another, so that's good, isn't it? One lock to another. This is where it floods quite badly when the river has too much water. As I said to you before, it's quite narrow here, constrained by the steeper banks and the actual lie of the land. As you can see, it's in sort of a valley, and because of that it tends to flood very, very easily. Again, we've got a very, 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 very ancient bridge down here, and one of the things that makes it a good place to build a bridge, of course, is because it is deep and it's not wide, so you don't have to put in that many spans. You can tell it's an old bridge because if you have a look at that, you can see how close the arches are. Well, I don't know how old this one is. I'll give you a shot when we get nearer. I said I'd give you a shot when I got nearer. Look at that for a beautiful old bridge. You don't get many like that around. That is absolutely superb. I've got to watch the time, of course, because I set off, I reckon, about 10 past 2, and it's now coming up to 3:30, so I've got to think of getting back. I don't think Jan would be too pleased if I got back late, but how about that? What a beautiful bridge. Been here for hundreds of years. Here we go. Level crossing's closed. There goes our massive trains. Nothing like you guys have got in the States. And up goes the barrier. And on goes the traffic. You lot could go away and have lunch over in the USA. Come back and the train would still be passing. Well, we got it lucky or what? Well, I don't think it's passable going underneath the bridge at the moment. So it looks like I'm going to have to go round the other way. All looks good. The bridge is very narrow, just like the one at East Farleigh. Onwards we go. Right. Through another stile and round the other side of the bridge to pick up the river path again. Wonderful old bridge. Now I would suspect that once it floods it can run through the few other arches. There's a sort of one here that's above the water level, and I would suspect that there's a good chance that they get opened up and take the excess water, which helps. But this is an area prone for flooding. Right, we're at Teston, and you've got Teston Lock here, and also of course the sluice, and the River Authority are between the devil and the deep blue sea here, because they want to hold the water back to keep it a bit low so that they can work downstream at East Farleigh. But of course the water that's coming down they've got to get rid of. They can't leave it there, especially with the threat of heavier rains. They want to clear as much water as possible. So they are truly between the devil and the deep blue sea. I don't envy them at all. But there you go. I'll give you a shot in a moment. For those of you that are interested, there's an exact map reference, so you can look it up on the Ordnance Survey. For those of you in the rest of the world that don't know what I'm talking about, our maps are the most accurate and best and detailed in the world. And that's before satellite. You just made them better with satellites. Something to be very proud of. Now I've been down this with my kayak. This is one of the what they call canoe passes. You've got a couple of these in this stretch to get round this lock. So you've got the sluice on the upper left hand side, and obviously you've got the lock, which you'll see in a moment, and this is one of the canoe passes which help the fish to get upstream to breed. I have to say it's great fun to go down one of these canoe chutes. There's the first part of it up there, and the second part is here that I've just shown you. And you're coming along in a canoe or a kayak, you've got nowhere to go, you've just got to aim and go for it. That's it, if you get wet, you get wet. I'm talking about getting wet, I'm afraid it's started to rain, and it looks like I'm going to get soaked. But not before I have a look at the lock and record that for you, although I don't think I'll be doing much recording on the way home. I'm afraid it's going to be get moving and try to get back before it absolutely falls down, which is really what it's forecast to do. So it's a bit daft really for me to have gone this far, but there you go, such is life. What's the time at the minute? Right, so I'm at the extreme, so I say 20 to 4. Right, here we go. The lock is absolutely full to the brim here. You can see the water level here and the water level on the other side. So they are trying to hold back a bit of water. And if we have a look on the other side of the lock and the sluice, which is that there, where they're trying to hold it back, you can see that it is reasonably high, and it's up to the height of the lock, of course. Right, let's just have a quick look over here. You can see the rain spatters on the walkway there, right over the lock gates. And here we have the sluice, which we use to control the waters in the river. Hold it back when there's not enough water, and you let it through when you want to get rid of it. So these gates can all be altered to adjust the flow. It's all automatic. Well, that's me lot. And I think now, as you can see, the spatters of rain on the surface, I'm going to get very wet, but it's been good fun. So winter or not, who cares? Might be I'm not exactly dressed for it, but I don't mind. It's got me out all day, and it's going to be a fast walk back, I think. So when I put this video together, I hope that some of you might enjoy it. Don't have to stay indoors all day. I'll leave you with the other canoe pass. Wahey! Just one thing to add that I was dumb enough to do, and I mean it. Bear in mind it's winter. It's not exactly the busiest place in the world, but that is a path. But if anything happened, I forgot to bring my phone. And I don't mean forgot to bring it from home. Did my usual stunt. I left it in the car. That's my favourite. I leave it in there, I don't turn it on. 8 phones now. Had them all my life. Ever since we had bricks in cars. Can't stand the bloody things. You know, and before that we had bleepers and oh dear, tied to the phone all my life. And now I've just got a passion about not using it. So I've got no smartphone or anything like that, it's just a bog standard thing. If I break down I can call for help. And the time when I should take it out, which is now, walking along a very lonely footpath with loads of mud, raining, during the winter where the weather could turn and it could be pretty naughty or I could fall. Like a Dumbo, it's still in my car, turned off. So I have to admit that doing that is a bit stupid. So there you go. Will I ever learn? Don't think so.